Okay, we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 14 and 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that has not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins." See, say, blessed is the man that have not slipped with his mouth, saying the wrong thing, getting caught up in his speech, saying the wrong thing, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. You know, you're supposed to be becoming perfect. You know, not as a degenerate plant, but as a plant that the Most High said He's laboring to make perfect. That's why we gotta do what's right according to what's right, and that's in the eyes of the Most High. What did he say? Go get Hebrews, the 10th chapter. We're gonna start at the 24th verse. Hebrews 10. Hebrews 10:24. Hebrews 10:24. "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works." So we're supposed to consider each other to provoke unto love, which is keeping of the commandments of the Most High, so you will have good works. "Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together." We're supposed to be coming together, as our forefathers came together. As a matter of some of you say you don't have to come together. But Mashiach Bashai said, "Where two or three are gathered in my name, I am in the midst thereof." "Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as a matter of some but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." And we have to see the day approaching, unless you're just in straight darkness. All the things that's happening in the world today, and you don't see that day approaching, getting closer and closer to that day. Don't fool yourself. That's why I say you got to come together. See, "For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin." So there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. Mashiach Abishai not going to the Most High on your behalf. He was the ultimate sacrifice for the children of Israel. Say, "I'm not going to the Most High on your behalf." There remaineth no more sacrifice for sins when you sin willfully. "He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses." He died, put to death, with 2 or 3 witnesses. "Of how much sore punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who have trodden under foot the Son of the Most High, and have counted the blood of the covenant insulted grace, wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despite unto the Spirit of grace," insulted the Spirit of grace, the grace that he gave by shedding his precious blood. Like it's nothing. That's what it's saying. So we got to come out of it. "For we know him that said, that have said, vengeance belong unto me. I will recompense." I'm going to get them. I'm going to pay them back, said the Most High. "And again, the Most High shall judge his people." He said going to judge his people. Now what's that judgment? Next he say what? "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power." He gonna judge his people and say it's a fearful thing to fall into his hands. But some figure they can do whatever they want to do. Look at Hebrews 11:1. Now faith, it's the definition of faith, is the substance of things hoped for. It's something you desire, something you hope for in the future. The evidence of things not seen. So you don't hope for something you can't see. You already have it. Why are you hoping for it? You already have it. For by it the elders obtain a good report. The elders obtain a good report of the past, our forefathers. Look at verse 39. As you read all through here, give us a little bit of our story of our forefathers. Then it says in verse 39, giving you how they have faith. They all have faith. They all believe in the Most High. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, because the promise hadn't come yet. Mostly having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. But here he is, most I said in 2nd Ezra 9:22. Just what we have the opportunity. Well, they didn't have the opportunities we have in living in the times that they lived. It says, let the multitude perish then. That's the multitude of people. Let them perish then, which was born in vain. Wow, some people were born in vain. And let my grape be kept, and my plant. This is a righteous grape, a holy grape, not in that plant, not a degenerate plant, as we read in Jeremiah. For with great labor have I made it perfect. See? Great labor have he made his grape and his plant holy, in following him, doing what's right. Look what he said in verse 31. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring forth in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever. For those that say we don't have to deal with it, so you'll be honored in it forever. For our fathers, which received the law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And though the fruit of the law did not perish, neither could it, for it was thine. The fruit of the law didn't perish, it was the Most High's. Yet they that received it perished. They died. Because they kept not the thing that was sown in them, which was the law. They didn't keep it. And lo, it is a custom, when the ground has received seed, or the sea, a ship, or any vessel, meat or drink, that being perished, wherein it was sown or cast into, that thing also which was sown or cast therein, or received, does perish, and remaineth, and with you. It remaineth not with you, because it's dead, but with us it hath not happened so. For we that have received the law perish by sin, and our heart also which received it. So we perish because we sinned against the Most High. Notwithstanding, the law perishes not, but remaineth in his force. See, the law don't perish. It ain't went nowhere. It remained in its force. Because it's the Most High's law. This is very important, people, that we see this, because time is going on and it's a time to wake up out of sleep before it's too late. So I want to read Revelations, the first chapter. And verse 3. Revelation 1 and 3. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." It's time, people. The time is at hand. Whether you hear or forbear. Look at Philippians, first chapter. We'll read verse 14. "And many of the brethren showing Mashiach Yahushua as in the name of the anointed Savior, coming as such, no matter how they saying it, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Some indeed preach Mashiach even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill." See, some teaching the word of envy and strife. They all against each other. We supposed to be together. But they teaching of envy and strife. In the name of the anointed Savior. You hear it all the time. In the name of the anointed Savior. What they say in English, say it in Hebrew, whatever. They teaching the Mashiach in the name of the Mashiach Yahushua, and with envy and strife. And some also of goodwill. The one preaches Mashiach of contention. See, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, and they act an affliction to those that they're coming against their bonds. When you have these secular churches and these religious people that's out here leading our people straight astray and don't know the truth, and the people that's following them don't know the truth. But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, whether they pretending or they're in truth, Mashiach is preached. And I therefore do rejoice, yeah, and I will rejoice. Say, whether they pretending, they're not real, at least they coming from the Bible, and they teaching Mashiach. That's what he said. He rejoiced for that purpose. "For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayer and the supply of the Spirit of a Mashiach Yahushua, according to my earnest expectation and my hope, that is nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Mashiach shall be magnified in my body, whether it be my life, or whether it be by life or by death. So he magnified Mashiach Yahushua. Remember, Mashiach Yahushua was the enemy of Paul. When he was Saul, anybody called on in the name of the Lord and Savior, he was persecuting them to death. But now, it was made to the point when he was converted that he had to do nothing but honor Mashiach Yahushua. He's an elder, as we know. We read tonight. Look, this is story. Go to Acts the 26th chapter. We can start at verse 1. It say, Then Agrippa said unto Paul, Thou art permitted to speak for thyself. Then Paul stretched forth the hand and answered for himself. I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee, touching all the things whereof I am accused of the Jews, especially because I know thee to be expert in all customs and questions which are among the Jews. You know how he's trying to Yaquab them, exalt them. Wherefore I beseech thee to hear me patiently. My manner of life from my youth. This is Paul, when he was Saul. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among mine own nation, at Jerusalem, know all the Jews. So they know me. They know what I was dealing with and how I grew up, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify that they did, that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived a Pharisee. They were dealing with the law and with politics, with the government. That was the Pharisees. And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of the Most High unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes. Hear that? For all you that don't think the 12 tribes exist anymore, Paul was saying, unto which promise? The promise was given to who? The 12 tribes of Israel. What did he say? Of which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, or faith's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. Why should it be thought of a thing incredible with you, that the Most High should raise the dead? That the Most High could raise him up from being in a dead state of mind? I verily thought with myself, and to raise Mashiach Yahushua on the third day from the death. I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Mashiach Yahushua, contrary to Bahasham of Mashiach Yahushua. He thought with himself to do things contrary to Bahasham of Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior. Which thing I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints, who are the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, did I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priests. And when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. See? That's what he did. He had Israelites put to death. He gave his voice against them. And I punished them oft in every synagogue, and compelled them to blaspheme. And being exceedingly mad against them, I persecuted them even into strange cities. He compelled them to blaspheme. He made them blaspheme. And he went into different cities. He was exceedingly mad against them. So I persecuted them, even unto strange cities. Whereupon as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priests, at midnight,